All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we've got some spoilers to go over from OP-13. Okay, so spoiler warning right up front here, and let me go ahead and start breaking down the video so you guys know what we're getting into, because we've got a few other things to go over as well. First things first, we're going to be checking out some OP-13 spoilers. I think we have about 6 or 7 to go over today. So that's the first thing we're going to be doing. And then after that, we're going to be checking out 2 different games on the sim. Okay, I've got 2 games for us to go over. One is going to be of Belo Betty, Red Yellow Belo Betty, and the other is going to be of Silver's Rayleigh. Okay, these are meant to be more fun, lighthearted, chill games, but we'll talk more about that as we get to them. And then at the end of the video, of course, we'll go over the deck list for both of those decks, and we'll talk about those a little bit. Okay, so that's it, guys. As usual, I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comments section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Alright, guys, first card we're going to be going over in today's video is Crocus. This is a purple, 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter, Roger Pirates type character. With 2 different effects here. We have an on-play and a when attacking. The on-play effect is if you have any given Dawn, add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and set it as active. Okay, so on-play, if there's a Dawn given anywhere, it doesn't have to be to your leader. It just says if you have any given Dawn, then you're going to be able to ramp a Dawn as active. Okay, very nice on-play effect. And then the when attacking effect says return up to 1 character with an original power of 3,000 or less to your opponent's hand. Okay, that's worded in a very interesting way. If someone can confirm in the comment section below if that wording is correct, I think typically what it would say is return up to 1 of your opponent's characters with an original power of 3,000 or less to the owner's hand. But this says return up to 1 character with an original power of 3,000 or less to your opponent's hand. I don't think that wording is correct, but I could be wrong about that. If someone can confirm in the comment section below. But let me say this, guys, it does go off of original power, so that's not exactly great. But if you're trying to get past any kind of chump blockers or anything like that, the effect is not terrible. However, I do need to know if it can bounce a card back to the owner's hand or if it can only be your opponent's character. Because if you can bounce back your own searchers to your hand, that could be really, really strong. But otherwise, this is still a very strong card. And in fact, I really do like this card quite a bit. Because think about it like this, guys. So you're going to want to play this out. If you're playing Red, Purple, Goldie, Roger, this is what you're going to be playing out on your 6 Dawn turn, right? So you're playing this out on 6 Dawn, right? And when you play this out, you'll go to 7. All right, so next turn when you go to 9, that's when you'll be able to play out the new Silver's Rayleigh, and that will get you straight to 10 Dawn for when on your next turn, you'll be able to untap and have all of your Dawn available to you, and you still get to rush in with that Silver's Rayleigh, of course, and you'll be able to swing in for 7,000 with your leader. So I actually really, really like this card within the whole Roger Pirates package. This card seems really, really strong. Big fan of this one. You're ramping a Dawn, and then you also have this other potential upside with the when attacking effect. Really good stuff here. Guys, Roger seems like he's getting a lot of excellent support for OP-13. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Next up, we have Vegapunk. This is a 1-cost, 1,000 power character with a 1k counter, Egghead Scientist type. With if you have 2 or more given Dawn, this character gains blocker. Okay, so this is going to go perfectly with Bonnie. But I would imagine that, I would imagine Vegapunk will be able to use this as well if they want to make use of this card. And this is one of those 1-cost, 1,000 power, 1k counter blockers. They're always conditional, typically speaking, guys. For any of the new players out there, for those who are not aware, in the game of One Piece, what you can typically expect of a 1-cost blocker is usually a 1-cost. Notice where the cost is 1-cost, 1,000 power blocker. If you want to add the 1k counter to it, they will usually put a condition attached to it, right? In this case, if you have 2 or more given Dawn, then this character will gain blocker. Otherwise, it does not have blocker. But this is not bad. This is not terrible. This will go perfectly with the new Jory Bonnie leader coming out in OP-13. Not too much to talk about here. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Very solid card, though. Good support. All right, next up we have Go to the Top of the Mountain. This is a 1-cost purple event for former Roger Pirates. And it has main, you may rest 3 of your Dawn cards, and if you have a given Dawn, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with an original power of 4,000 or less, and up to one of your opponent's characters with an original power of 3,000 or less. Okay. And then it also has counter up to one of your leaders gains plus 3,000 power during this turn. But that has been eroded, guys. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Notice what it says here. They even noticed right away. Plus 3,000 power for the turn is insane. So it says, important note, the text currently printed on this keyword effect reads as during this turn, but we believe that this may be an error and it should say battle instead of turn. And I will go to the next slide, guys, because they have already updated that. I'm going to move my camera out of the way for this spot down here at the bottom. They have already changed it. It's supposed to be plus 3,000 power for this battle. Okay, so that has already been adjusted. That has been corrected. And thank goodness for that, right? Because that would have been absolutely insane. Plus 3,000 power for the turn is wild. But let me say this. This event, otherwise, you know, since it does not give plus 3,000 power for the turn, it's just plus 3,000 for the battle. I don't think this card is actually that good because it can only KO a 4,000 and 3,000 power character original power. So there won't be any power manipulation you can combo with this. I'm not a huge fan of this card. I guess it really depends on the matchup, right? I'm sure there are certain matchups where this will be really strong. Maybe against Lucci or something like that. It can KO a Brook and the blocker Rebecca or something like that, maybe. I'm not exactly sure what they're going for here. It is a 4-cost card, but I think you'd rather just... I mean, I don't know why you'd want to run this card, to be honest, in Goldie Roger. We'll have to see. Maybe, you know, we don't know what all is coming out in OP-13. We don't know what will happen with the bans and restrictions update. We don't know what the meta is going to look like in OP-13. So I will say, if there's ever a, you know, if the meta ever turns into something that goes very wide on the board, then a card like this could be really incredible. If there's a bunch of 3,000, 4,000 power, you know, base power characters on the board, sure, then this card's incredible. But otherwise, I mean, you're pretty much just paying 4 to get rid of a bunch of smaller characters. And in this situation here, or, you know, in a deck like this, you're not worried about the smaller characters because you're trying to ramp to 10 Dawn, and now your leader's a 7,000 power leader, right? So if not bigger, by playing out the 9-cost Newgate or the 10-cost Goldie Roger. So it really comes down to, why would we even care about these smaller characters? I don't really see the point of this card unless, like I said, unless the format becomes, let's go super wide on the board and attack. But I feel like those decks will already have a hard enough time dealing with Red Purple Roger because it gets to 7,000 power so quickly. Now, funny enough, guys, this card here with Rayleigh's picture on it, it's called Go to the Top of the Mountain. This card is probably incredible against Red Silver's Rayleigh. And I would imagine Silver's Rayleigh was probably going to be a deck that was probably going to be pretty decent against Goldie Roger. And it's too funny that they would print the answer to Silver's Rayleigh with a picture of Rayleigh on the card to protect his own captain from himself, right? It's kind of weird the way they did that. I'm not sure what's going on there. Very cool picture there of Rayleigh. Of course, I do love my Silver's Rayleigh cards. I'm going to always try to make those work whenever I can. But as far as generally speaking goes, I don't know if there's going to be enough room in Red Purple Goldie Roger to fit a card like this in there. The one costs 3K for the leader. We've seen a lot of effects like that. But would you rather run this card, if you're trying to run a one-cost utility 3K counter for the leader, would you rather run this card or something maybe like Divine Departure or something like that? I don't know. We'll have to see. And maybe we can't fit any of those cards in the deck. Maybe we just want to ramp and get straight to the late game. Again, we'll have to see what happens. Either way, decent card. It's not a bad card, but I'm trying to wonder what deck is going to try to make use of this and against who is it going? You know, like who are you going against to justify running this card for that main effect? So, okay, if you guys have any ideas, please say something down in the comment section below. Okay, let's move on to the next one. All right, next up we have Beppo. Zoom in one more time here. There we go. So we have Beppo here. This is a green 5-cost 7,000 power character with Minx, Film, and Heart Pirates type. With end of your turn, set this character or one of your Dawn cards as active. Okay, so I can tell you right now. So guys, looking at this card right now, I'm getting some very serious green-blue Zoro and Sanji vibes. Green-blue Sanji loves cards like this. Now, the types are nothing special for what we would be trying to do, but who knows? Maybe we can, if we get enough Minx support, we already want to run Carrot in that deck, the 5-cost 6k Carrot with the 1k counter that locks down a 7 or less. That's already pretty much an auto-include in green-blue Sanji. However, if we can get enough Minx support, maybe we can run something more like this. Or film support, or Heart Pirate support, we'll have to see. But I think the way that people are building this, the way that people are building Green Blue Zanji currently is they're focusing more on the slash package once we get to OP-12. But whatever the case is, I think this is still a solid character. Okay, it's a 5-cost 7k. It's got vanilla stats, but no 1k counter. Instead of having the 1k counter, it has a really strong end of your turn effect. Standing up a Dawn is going to be perfect for something like Bonnie. Standing this character as active is going to protect it later in the game, so you get to attack in, stand it up, and protect it. So I think this is just a very strong card, but you do have to always consider whenever a card is a brick, which, for the newer players out there, what is a brick? It's a card that doesn't have a counter on the side. Okay, so like on the side here, if it's a character that doesn't have a counter, typically people will call that a brick. You only have so much room in your deck for bricks, right? You can't just have an entire deck of cards with no counters on them. You have to really balance and do some balancing to see how many you can pull off in whatever deck it is. Each deck is different, but this is a card where it's like, okay, it's a 5-cost 7k with a pretty solid effect, but will it be worth running over one of our other potentially powerful cards with no counter? And the answer is we'll have to see what happens. And that's why the first thing that pops in my head is green-blue Zanji, because in that deck, okay, we slam this card down and we're swinging what? I mean, we can swing twice with this card and then stand it up at the end of the turn to protect it. So that could be very, very strong. Something I will definitely have to mess around with at some point. Okay, all right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, next up we have Trafalgar Law. We have a 6-cost green, 6,000 power slash character with the film, Supernova, and Heart Pirates type. And then it has the effect, if you have 1 or less life cards, this character gains blocker. And then on play, you may return one of your characters to its owner's hand. Play up to 1 character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand rested. So I can tell you right now, the card we just saw, the Beppo, this is perfect for that, right? I mean, you could play out this 6-cost Trafalgar Law, pulling back one of your cards, maybe a Searcher to get more value from later, and then play out your 5-cost 7k Beppo, and then at the end of your turn, stand it up as active because this card sends it into play rested. This Trafalgar Law does. That could be very cool, very strong effect there, and I do really, really like that idea. I'm not going to lie. I'm thinking about that right now, thinking, okay, that's actually pretty decent synergy there. Maybe they'll give us some more Heart Pirate support or film. So both the Beppo that we just saw and this Trafalgar Law, they are Heart Pirates and film. So if we could find some way to get some really strong support there to do some good searching and whatnot, maybe we can adapt Green Blue Zanji in OP-13 to something more film or Heart Pirates type. We'll have to see. And of course, this law is Supernova type, so any kind of deck that's running Cavendish, that's a Supernova type leader, this is absolutely perfect in there. Even if they can attack into your Cavendish, it might not be a big deal because, you're getting so much value, they have to attack into it, and it's a 6,000 power character, so you might even be able to defend it. But regardless, the only thing that I'm not in love with on this card is the condition of blocker, because this is a 6-cost, 6,000 power character with no counter. We were just talking about this with Beppo, right? Incredible card, very, very strong card, but you can only afford to put so many cards into your deck that don't have counters. So it's like, okay, this is a 6-cost, 6,000 power character with no counter, and it's conditionally blocker. It has a conditional blocker, and the on-play effect, you're pulling back one of your characters to play out a 5-cost or lower rested. So I feel like this card could have at least been, if it was going to be blocker, I think it should have been a 6-cost, or excuse me, instead of being a conditional blocker, let me say it like that, I think this card should have just been a blocker, period. Especially since it's a 6-cost, 6,000 power character, I think it should have just been given blocker and the on-play effect. Otherwise, if you want to give it conditional blocker, why not make it into like a 6-cost 7k and then everything else the same? I don't know. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Either way, I think this card is very strong. The art looks incredible, guys. Let's zoom in on the art on this one. It looks really, really awesome. I do love the way they did that. But I think the card's very good, and it's going to be something that green can abuse. Any green deck will be able to abuse this, guys, because notice this, or any deck that's even splashing green Hang on, guys. The more I'm thinking about this, let me read that a little bit more carefully, a little closer here. You may return one of your characters to its owner's hand. Period. It doesn't matter what color or cost it is. And then play up to one character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand rested. Again, it doesn't care what color the card is. It just has to cost 5 or less. So, I mean, this could go into any deck that's running green, like, you know, dual multicolored decks and whatnot. Very cool card here. Can't wait to see what people cook up with this one. Okay, let's move on to the next one. All right, next up we have S-Snake. This is a yellow 4-cost, 5,000 power Seraphim Egghead character with a 1,000 power counter, and we have an on-play and win attacking effect that says you may turn the top card of your life face up, and then up to one of your opponent's characters will get minus 2,000 power during this turn. Okay, life and power manipulation going on there. I feel like this should have been a Revo Army card, but let's keep going. Trigger, you may discard one card from your hand, and if you do, play this card. Okay, I do think the trigger is solid on here. I think that form of the trigger should, like, I think that's the most fair form of trigger, you know, cheating characters into play effects. Because you're having to discard a card just to do it, right? Like what we see with Satori. I think whenever you can play a character from your life for free without trashing a card from hand, I think that is actually I think it can be a little too powerful, especially when you see something like Kikinojo or something like that. Who knows? Maybe not. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. And just know, guys, yellow is like my main color, so I'm not saying that, you know, with any kind of bias against yellow. I'm actually, you know, if anything, my bias would be for yellow. Like, I'm with yellow. That's my main color. But I think that this form of the trigger, cheating bodies into play, I think that effect is best balanced around having to discard a card from hand to cheat the body into play. Now, as far as the on-play and when attacking effect goes, that's interesting. So you're flipping a life card face up, and then you're attacking in and giving minus 2,000 power to a character for the turn. So I feel like this should have been like a red-yellow leader effect. I'm not going to lie, guys. I feel like this should have actually just been a red-yellow leader effect instead of like being on a character. Because this is very much a perfect mixture of a red effect with the minus 2,000 power and a yellow effect with the flipping the top of the life card face up. Or the top life card face up. Y'all know what I mean. I feel like that was something maybe this is what the Bonnie should have been. Okay, I got it right here, guys. Maybe this is what Bonnie should have been, guys. Just turn the red-yellow Bonnie into a 4-life, 5,000 power leader with this when attacking effect, and then also the standard effect that it has whenever you play out a character with trigger, you can attach 2 Dawn to your leader. In fact, maybe that's what they could have made it, was when attacking, Dawn times 2, and then give the leader this effect. But as far as being on this character goes, this is very interesting. I don't quite understand why this is a yellow card. It's a little bit odd to me, giving yellow power reduction. I'm not sure what's going on there. If you guys know more about this, tell me in the comment section below. But maybe they're trying to make more cards in other colors have more ways to synergize with the other colors. I'm not sure. Now, we have seen something with like purple, how purple can do Dawn minus effects to get special treatment, pretty much, to have abilities from other color pools, right? That's something that purple has had access to, where they can manipulate their Dawn by going backwards in Dawn to play out an effect that purple shouldn't have as a color. It might be something from, you know, something like yellow, for example, with 9-cost Lin. They can Dawn -1 and trash a card to gain a life and bounce a character to the opponent's life. That's a very yellow effect, what we just said right there, but it's within purple because you have to Dawn -1. So maybe they're going to start doing that with the yellow cards with, okay, we're going to start revealing cards from the top of our life in order to have an effect from another color pool. Not sure. Maybe that's what's going on here. But I will say this. I've mentioned this before, guys. I have to mention it one more time, especially when we were going over all the new leaders that we've seen so far from OP-13. It was like, okay, so we saw red's going to be the common theme here, guys. We saw red-green Luffy. We saw red-blue Ace. We saw red-purple Goldie Roger. Red-black Sabo. So I thought we were going to see red-yellow, whatever it was going to be. And in this case, it was Jory Bonnie. But instead, they just made it mono-yellow. It's like, okay, I guess they didn't want to print another red-yellow Sabo. Maybe that was the situation. But hey, why couldn't they make it something like red-yellow Dragon or something and give it an effect like what we were just talking about? But whatever the case is, they didn't choose to do that. I wish they had made Bonnie into something red-yellow, and then an effect like this would have made a lot more sense in a deck like that. But whatever the case is, here's what we got. This card's not bad at all. Like, in a vacuum, this is not a bad effect. You're revealing the top card of your life. giving a character -2. This is an on-play and when attacking effect, so you might be able to get recurring value from an effect like this, and then any kind of life gain you can combo with it. It's just all upside. So very, very good stuff here. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is the last card here, guys. We have Izo. This is a blue, 6 cost, 6,000 power, Land of Wano and Whitebeard Pirates type character with a 1k counter, and then on play, draw 2 cards. Okay, that is just a generically good card. I've mentioned this before. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to fill out the 6 cost spot in the game, and it looks like it seems like there's been some type of progression within each set for Bandai, which is not a bad thing. I think it's probably a good thing overall. It's like back when Blue Doflamingo was really going crazy, it seemed like up to that point the 4 cost spot was really strong in the game. Not just for Blue Doflamingo, but just all over the place. The 4 cost spot was just incredible. Then after that, they started pushing for the 5 cost characters. And now I think, and then they actually skipped, I think, over 6 and went straight to the 7 cost characters. And then eventually we got into and then actually I think they might have gone back to 5 cost characters to print even more strong 5 cost characters. And now we're finally getting into the 6 cost stuff with OP-12 and OP-13. And that's a good thing, right? We want to have as many good options as possible across the board as we're building our decks. And this card right here is just a generically good 6 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter character with on play draw 2. So think about it, guys. You're playing this out on curve. It's not the biggest character, but it doesn't matter. The fact that it's right at 6,000 power is actually perfect because most leaders in this game, there's a new exception now, but most leaders in this game are 5,000 or 6,000 power leaders, right? That's like the overwhelming majority. So being able to put down a 6 cost, 6,000 power character is actually very relevant. It's very important. And the card has a 1k counter, and then as soon as you play it, it replaces itself immediately and goes +1. Think about it, guys. Guys, think about it like this. If you have 5 cards in your hand, okay? And then on your 6th dawn turn, you play out the Izo. Okay, you go down to 4 cards in hand. Then you draw 2 cards. So that's +1, +1. You go +1 in hand, right? So you went from 5 down to 4, back up to 5, up to 6. Okay? And you put a body on the board that is actually a very relevantly statted body. 6 cost and 6,000 power. That will be it won't be too easy for most opponents to deal with. Okay, so I'm actually a huge fan of this card. This one's really strong, and I'm not going to lie. Being a blue-yellow ace main right now, it's too bad the card wasn't 5 cost. But, you know, I'll let it slide. Bandai, if you're listening, I'll let it slide this once. I'm just kidding, guys. But seriously, I would have been very, very spoiled if they had made this into a 5 cost 5k with a 1k counter and draw 2. That would have been just fine with me, or even a 5 cost 6k with no counter. I think I would have even taken that for my my precious blue-yellow ace deck. But yeah, either way, there's enough 5 cost targets within blue to be fair. So, okay, well that's it for the cards on the for the cards to go over. Tell me what y'all thought about these in the comment section below of all these new spoilers from OP-13. Looks like we're getting a lot of really cool stuff, guys. A lot of really cool stuff coming up. Okay, all right. Next up, let's get into some games on the sim. And first up, we're going to have Silver's Rayleigh. All right, guys. First game up, we got Silver's Rayleigh against Blue Kuzan. All right, volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. Okay, so we got a pretty fancy version of Silver's Rayleigh here, if you haven't noticed. Look at this, guys. We got Nami. We've got the whole zoo package here. I'm not saying that this version is better than the current one, okay? Just understand that. It was just something I was messing with, all right? We're just having a little bit of fun in today's video. This is not meant to be like a Silver's Rayleigh breakdown type of video, right? All right, so we played out the Nami turn 1. We swing for 5 with our leader turn 2, playing out the 3 cost chopper that cheats out another chopper, and here we go. They played out double Tashigi on turn 1 for them to fix their hand, and then they're going to follow up with a turn 2 Sengoku, 6 and a 4. You can have that. That saved me a life card, and here we go. Now, the unfortunate part right here is, notice this, guys, I don't have enough events in my hand to really go crazy here. So we're going to swing for 5. We're going to cheat out a Robson here with this character's effect. They're going to 2k counter out. And again, guys, we don't have enough events in hand to do anything too fancy. So we're going to swing for 5, and I think we're going to swing for 6, and then we're going to play out the 1 cost chopper. All right, here we go. Passing the turn back to my opponent. What do they want to do here? I'm just going to defend. Okay, that card I don't care about at all. They can have that one. And then we're just going to block out of whatever they try to attack into the Tony Chopper. Okay, instead they make it where that card cannot attack next turn with the Kuzan. And they're going to go 5 and a 4. I think we're probably just going to 2k counter to save that card and go from here. Okay, very nice. So this is not the most perfect situation here. I can only cheat out a hiking bear with my 4-cost Luffy. But, I mean, it is a way to fill out the board, to be fair. It's not too bad. So let's see what happens here. So we use our leader effect, revealing our 2 events. We're going to swing for 6. They're going to 2K out. And now we're going to swing for 7. And then we're going to play out this this Luffy, revealing the 2 cards from our hand again. And then we're going to go ahead and cheat out a hiking bear. Okay. And giving a Dawn to our leader. I guess we could have swung for 8 there, guys. That was a slight mistake. Slight play mistake there with sequencing. We left 1 Dawn active. If they go to attack into my Robson, I'm just going to pay 1 and replace it with the event that's called, it's called Shut Up and Come With Us. Okay, so here we go. Our opponent has 8 Dawn. They're going to go ahead and slam down a Monkey D Garp. Okay, they're going to slam down the Garp here, trashing a card to play out an 8,000 power or lower blue Navy character. They play out Sakazuki to draw 2 cards, and that's a pretty good spot to be in, guys. This is a pretty good spot for them to be in. They're going to attach a Dawn for free to the Sengoku with the Sakazuki's effect. I'm just going to let the Robson go. They're going to swing for 5, and then we are going to take that hit. Then they swing for 8. I think we're probably going to cash in on the event now, maybe. Yeah, it looks like we're going to use the event now. We're going to play out the chopper. We're just going to take it, and now we have a really strong event that's going to allow us to maybe punch through for a game later in the game. Okay, so I do need to show this event off, unfortunately, to buff my characters on the board. We buffed the Luffy. We're going to attach a Dawn. We attach 2 Dawn to our leader. That's going to buff the Luffy. Actually, excuse me, we have not shown the 2 cards from hand yet to buff the Luffy. It's buffed from having 2 Dawn attached. So we attach a Dawn to the hiking bear. We're going to buff up the 4-cost, the 4K Tony Tony Chopper on the right. And now it looks like we're going to buff up the, we're going to use the leader effect now to reveal the events to buff up the hiking bear. And I think we're going to start swinging across the board here. Okay, swing for 6, swing for 6. We already got a 2K. There's another 2K. I'm trying to eat up as many 2Ks from their hand as we can. And, guys, they've got a lot of 2K. There's another 2K, guys. That is insane. They've gone through 3 already. We're going to swing in for 6 more. We're going to replace one of the cards on the board with another Tony Tony Chopper. We finally punched through with a 6K. And now I think what we're going to do is we're going to get them down to, we're going to try to get them down to 1 life here by swinging for 8. Might just swing for 9, guys. Might just swing for 9. Excuse me, we go 10 into 8. That was very greedy of me, but hey, that's what we chose to do. They have no cards in hand. And at this point, they really do have to kind of go for a game here, I'd say. Or no, actually, not game, excuse me. They have to go for my board here. But they could try to go for game, and that's what they try to do. That's what I was going to say is, if I remember this game correctly, they make a very unwise decision here to go for game. So I do a little bit of math here, and I'm thinking, okay, well, hang on. They only have 4 more attacks. I have a blocker, but I can't use the blocker because of the Hina. They trash a card to buff, to put a Dawn. They use the Sakazuki's effect to give a Dawn to the leader by trashing a card. They're swinging in for 8. I just have to be able to get out of one of these attacks. They swing in for 8 more. I'm going to take it. Okay, we get the Gum Gum Mole Gun here, and I think I'm going to minus 3,000 to one of these guys here. Or excuse me, minus 5,000 to the Garp, and that's pretty much game. So I couldn't KO anything there. Well, maybe I could. I might have. No, actually, I think it KOs a 2K. Never mind. The whole idea, though, was I needed to shut down their biggest attack, and after that, they just scooped it up. I don't know if it was necessarily over or not. Let's try and do some math here. Okay, so the top card of their deck is a Kuzan. That's not going to help them at all. There's no counter on there. But check this out, guys. So say they swing 8 into maybe my Luffy. I don't even think I can save it. Actually, I can. I can save it. I'm just kidding. I could use the Conqueror's Hockey and the Robson to save my Luffy, and now they have no more attacks left. They have a 3K attack that can't hit anything on the board unless they load up with it, and I guess technically if I needed to, I could counter out with the 0-cost, the unblockable event, because I don't need it. There's no characters with blocker on the field. So they couldn't even get one of my characters off the board, but they do have a 1K counter in hand, and then they have the Ice Block Pheasant Peck in their hand. But here's how I think this next turn would go here. I would be trying to swing for 7s across the board. I don't think I'd be able to use my leader effect to buff my board because I would have had to defend out with everything from my hand. But what we would be trying to do here is try to go for as many 7s across the board as we can. Because remember, guys, we ate up a lot of their 2Ks earlier on. And I think what we would be able to do is, let's see, 3 here, 3 here, 1 here, 2 here. So let me do the math. I did that too quickly. All right, so let's say 2 on this character, 1 on Luffy, 2 on the leader, and then I would have 5 left. So I think I would be able to go a 6 and then 4 7s, and let's see how that would have gone. Okay, if we attack in for the first 7, they're probably going to want to take that just to see what they get from the top of their deck. So they go down to 1 life. Then we swing in for, actually, we would have swung in for 6, but that's the one they would have taken. We swing in for 7, they would have countered out of that, right? Then we swing in for 7 more, they're probably, well, they have to take the next hit there so they can use their Ice Block Pheasant Peck. Then we swing in for 7 more, they get out of that one, it would draw them into the Kuzan, and I think we would have just enough to get through that, guys. Either way, good game to my opponent. I think they gave up a little bit early there, but getting that trigger from the top was really nice for us. Okay, let's move on to the next game. We got one more game to go over, guys. We got a game of Red, Yellow, Belo, Betty. Okay. All right, so we got a game of Red, Yellow, Belo, Betty versus Zoro. And this is another one, guys, where we're playing a little bit off. This deck is not your everyday average Red, Yellow, Belo, Betty deck. This one's experimenting with more of a mid-range type of feel, okay? So you'll see as we go through the top 5 search there, oh, what's this? A 6-cost Kuma? Yes, that's correct. There is a 6-cost Kuma in here. We got the 6-cost Sabo. This is more of a mid-range version of Red, Yellow, Belo, Betty. Now, do I think this is going to be better than the current version? I don't know. Probably not. But at the same time, yeah, it's fun to mess around with different styles of these other decks, right? Okay, so the Zoro's going to go ahead and not attack in here. That was intentional. That was deliberate. That was completely deliberate. They don't want to attack into me and let me get a card from my life. I think you should attack in until both of you you and your opponent have 5 or less life cards, because that's when we can get the free triggers, because otherwise we can't get them at all. So I think it is safe to attack into Belo Betty at least on the first attack, but maybe not afterwards. Afterwards you have to be very careful. Okay, so right here they're going to swing 2 and a 2. They can have that. We don't care. They're going to swing 8 and a 5. We're going to take it. Okay, and look at this, guys. Right when I said, yeah, just attack in and everything will be fine. Yeah, we get a Lindbergh off the very top. That's why they did not attack in the first place. But here they are attacking in, getting impatient, and they should have kept to the patience, guys, because I was helping them out big time. Okay, we swing in for 5. We swing in for 5. We slam down the Kuma here. We're going to trash a card from hand, another Lindbergh, to go back up to 4 life. And notice what we're doing here, guys. We don't care about our leader effect right now. It's just going to help us close out lethal at the end of the game. We're not worried about, we're not really worried about our leader effect. We're just trying to make it to the late game and get as many bodies on the board as we can. And then, once we have these massive bodies on the board, we're going to trash a card from hand and swing for a bunch of 8s, 9s, and 10s or whatever. Okay, we get a Dragon's Breath. That's meant to be a little bit of stage removal. That's right, guys. We got a little bit of, stage tech in here. They're going to swing for 7 into us. I think we're at a 2K, 1K to get out of that one, we're at 3 life. Okay, what are they going to do here? We're just going to swing for 7. Do we choose to go into the board or face? We decide to go into the face. That face is the place. And now look at this curve, guys, going 6-cost Kuma into 8-cost Dragon. Swing 7, 7, 9. If you get rid of my Kuma, I gain a life. Good luck getting rid of the Dragon. It's a 9K. I mean, Zoro is a leader that can get rid of it, to be fair. But still, swinging into a 9K body, that's a lot easier to defend out of. They're going to play out a Mihawk standing out 4 Dawn. Let's see what they choose to do with it. If they load all of their Dawn on... Okay, they play out a Kyoshiro, the blocker that protects the slash characters. They're going to swing for 8 into what? Okay, 8 into 7... 2K countering out of that. They attack in, we get a 2K counter. They swing in for 6. We're going to counter out of this as well, I think. I'm trying to do a little bit of math to see if I can get rid of that Mihawk. That's what I was doing the math on there. They swing in, we get a Blast Breath. Okay, excuse me, we get a Dragon's Breath, guys. Did y'all see what that just did? Okay, let's... Okay, I did it too slow. It's too slow, guys. All right, hang on. All right, so he's going to attack in. Watch what the trigger does on Blast Breath. I'm going to try to get it right at the right time. Swing 7. Okay. Activate this card's main effect. So this is the card that I was talking about. It's meant, I put it in the deck to deal with stages, but it also doubles over as a way to deal with blockers, chump blockers. Main is KO up to one of your opponent's power 3,000 or lower characters, and up to one of your opponent's 1 cost or lower stage cards. Trigger, activate this card's main effect. Okay, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and get rid of one of your blockers over there. Seems good to me. Okay, so we go ahead and do that. And now they're going to have to pass the turn back. It's my turn. And right here, guys, we're going to swing for 9. We actually had a little bit of a play mistake here. We should have trashed a card first and gone about things like that. I don't know why I did things in this specific order, to be honest. I think we should have just gone ahead and, used the Fire Fist here and gone about things like that. They use a 0-cost 3K and a 2K. I'm going to play out the Belo Betty. I'm going to use the, I'm going to trash the stage. I'm going to swing through for 11. I think they have to give me the blocker here. And then we're just going to mash in for 13. GG to my opponent. We definitely messed that up, guys. There was no reason for me not to buff the dragon there for the first attack. That was just a slight play mistake, but hey, we still got there in the end. Good game to my opponent. Good game to both opponents. Okay, now let's go ahead and check out the deck list real quick before we wrap up this video. So this is the Belo Betty list we were just looking at. It's nothing special. It's nothing fancy. It's still a work in progress, but it's meant to be more mid-range tempo feeling, where you have a lot of ways to KO, actually. You have 4 Lindberghs, you have 2 Sabos, 2 Kumas, 4 Fire Fists, 4 Dragon's Breath. It's meant to have a decent amount of, like, minor removal. Like, this isn't, like, big-time removal, but it's nice minor removal with power reduction built in, like with the Fire Fist and the Koala. But it's really meant to just curve out where we go, okay, 4 Dawn, play out Lindbergh, or play out even the Karasu, whatever. Just play out something on your 4 Dawn turn to get on the board. After that, for your 6 Dawn turn, you have the Kuma and the Sabo, and then on your 8 Dawn turn, you slam down Monkey D. Dragon, and you just go from there. It's meant to just curve out. It has a lot of searcher power with the Belo Betty and the stage, and then it has a decent, you know, it doesn't have a lot of blocking going on, to be fair, but it's like, it's got enough decent removal and whatnot built in to slow them down in the early game, and then just run past them in the late game with your leader effect. That's what it's meant to do. Okay, so that's the red-yellow Belo Betty deck, and then we had a Zoro deck. Let me find, I think I called it Ray Z, maybe? Yeah, okay, here it is. I'm going to remove the leader so it all fits on 2 lines perfectly. This is kind of just a Rayleigh spin on the current Zoro deck that we all know of already that runs the choppers. I was just trying something here, guys. Notice I'm only running 3 of the Luffy. I've got 4 Sanji because I can search it up with the Nami, even though they look the same. This Luffy right here, if it can just get any kind of value, it's probably going to be insane. But it wasn't perfect. It was just meant to try it. I just wanted to try it out and see how it was. It felt okay, but I think the current version of Rayleigh is already just... I think it's just strictly better than this version. This was meant to be more for fun, just to see how it was. All right, well, that's it, guys. Let me get the outro page on here. Hope you all enjoyed that. Fun, chill video. Probably a pretty short video by my standards. I don't know exactly how long it's going to run, but this was a fun one here. And a lot of cool stuff coming out for OP-13. A lot of awesome stuff coming out for us in the West for OP-12 even. Cannot wait to get my hands on some of these cards. Tell me what y'all thought in the comment section below. Guys, if you are liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're doing anything like that, helping me out, I really appreciate it. And guys, if you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, or part of the Discord community, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much. And guys, if you're just helping out the community in general, that's, you know, you love to hear it. Thank you guys again for that. All right, I'm done. Hope you all enjoyed. Till next time, peace.